Hello, welcome to my full spoiler-free review of the supernatural horror movie Leviticus. And just in case you've come directly to my full video and you did not see my spoiler-free short, I'm going to do a kind of quick summary overview. So the premise is you have two teenage boys that must escape this dark entity that takes the form of the person they most desire, which is each other. And yeah, this movie really takes off. So I'm Shay, and let's just jump into the full spoiler-free review. So like I was saying in my short, this movie was disturbing, was unsettling, was uncomfortable. And it's a movie that plays on your mind. I was actually talking to someone that I know about the movie before I saw it, just basing it off of the overview and the trailer that I had seen. And the thing is, with demons, they can be so charming. And so here you have this demon who is taking the form of your lover, being very affectionate like your lover is, but it isn't them. And so that's a whole messed up thing. And the thing is, it seemed like not everyone can see this entity. I mean, it makes sense because, it's a paranormal aspect that, these entities, only certain people are able to see. So, it has so many elements. Plus, watching the trailer, I was saying that the trailer seemed like it was giving off this like religious conversion camp. It wasn't too very clear if it was a conversion camp or what was happening, but it definitely seemed like a conversion camp because you have these teenage boys that are gay and, the whole, what is it, the saying, pray the gay away, and believing that gayness is this demonic possession of a person. And, you have a priest. So a couple of the theories I had I was saying, I wonder if they summon demons while trying to release the gay from them in ceremonies. And my friend said, yeah, it's like a religious ceremony, but unknowingly they're summoning demons. And he said, or they're closet Satanists. And I had noticed in the trailer that there were scenes where it looked like they were holding someone down, like physically restraining somebody. But it wasn't too clear because the trailer, things are moving so fast, and they blur scenes together that you just don't know. And then, I continued the Satanist. I said, or like cultists, they're using the camp as cover and they made some sort of agreement with the devil. And then I continued and I said, or they're just so blinded by the church, they don't see it or believe it because of fear or righteousness. And then I said, well, maybe the leader of this church is possessed, or they believe that the people that they are doing this exorcism of sorts, they are possessed. And then with he was so you have Ryan and Naim. Ryan's the blonde one and Naim is the brunette. And Ryan says to Naim, if you see someone that looks like me, don't go near it. So you have that combined with the overview saying dark entity. It sounds like one entity and not multiple. So I don't know if people see entities at the same time, like multiple entities at the same time. I'm not too sure about that. And then I continued. Another thought I had was, so maybe they give it power, or maybe they re-release it every time they do some kind of ceremony. And then once realized, they do another exorcism to look it back up. And then I continued. Now, any of these theories could have happened. And I continued, and, another thought I had was, or maybe the ceremony is completely unrelated, but the very first ceremony caused this demon to come out, and then it gains power from killing. And then demons tend to slowly take over until it gets to a point where they can kill people one by one. But then, if someone is dead, then there would be a bunch of missing people. Maybe this demon actually kills their true self and has someone else take over, pretending to be the person that has been cured. Because I had noticed there's a scene where it looks like you have someone behind glass and he's trying to reach this other person. And so I'm not too sure. These are all just open-ended kind of theories. Another thing that I had noticed is that if you look at the movie poster, I zoomed in onto Ryan's hand, and it looked like one of the scratches was a cross. Just side note. So one, or maybe multiple of the theories I just listed could have happened. I'm not gonna say. But there's, you have this religious overlay in the movie. You have small community, small mindset. The feeling of doing the right thing, out of fear and lending your power to something else, a higher power of sorts. And, the setting, was disturbing. The settings, they were varied. And the acting I thought was fantastic. The music was great. The special effects, the makeup. And it's a movie that is going to surprise you. It's going to surprise you, because you have this entity that's taking over the form of the one you desire most. I don't know if I said it in this video or said it in my short, but it's one of those, it messes with your mind so much. And it's because demons can be so charming, it's what can they say to convince you that they are, not the entity? And it's one that there are things that get answered, but there's also things that are not answered, where I can really see it being an open-ended thing where it's up to your interpretation or your view of it, because there are a number of things that they just simply just don't answer that, you would see answered in other, supernatural entity, possession films. So that is another thing that stood out in this movie, is that there are things that you would normally have answered that don't get answered in this one. And maybe because they were not, it's not, there's no point to answering whatever your inquiry is. That's not the purpose of whatever's happening in the scene. But yeah, and it's one of those, I felt myself, I thought, while watching the movie, of putting myself in the shoes of, the people in this movie, of would you, if you were to see someone be freaking out, are you someone that would actually believe that there's something weird going on, or would you just think that this person is crazy? and, you know, they're schizophrenic or something like that. It got me thinking. And it's a movie that just when you think you know what's happening and where things are going, you're wrong. Like the direction of the movie did not go at all what I expected. Like, this is not your normal supernatural movie. Plus, you have the love story aspect, so that adds an interesting, you know, seasoning, I guess you could say. But honestly, this movie, there's just so much to it, and I want to see this movie again, because there was so much happening that I was so caught up, and I jumped a couple times. I found myself, you know, at moments, you know, when you see who you think is the entity, and you're like, oh my God, is that the entity? Is it not the entity? You know, and it's one that, you know, there's scenes where you start to believe, you know, okay, maybe this is, or maybe this isn't the entity. And it's one that it's like, until something happens, you just don't know. And that's the scary thing. That's the really scary thing about this movie, is that it goes beyond psychological. It goes beyond it. And it's people just think you're crazy, even though there's just so much to it. It's just, yeah, there's so much to this movie. And I don't normally do this, but I think I'm actually going to film my spoiler review, just because I have so much in my head that I just want to get out. So much I want to say. And normally I would wait for the second watch, and this is the first time. So I think that's everything I have to say. Honestly, this was a fantastic movie. Really, really well done horror movie, but very different. Very, very, very different. It's not, you know, it's not crazy violent through the entire one either. You know, it's not like a whole bunch of kills happening. It's really interesting the way they did that as well. I think that the music also played a huge role in how things felt in this movie. Honestly, there's just so much that I can say about this movie. Watch it. Seriously, it's a movie you're going to want to watch. And you may want to watch it more than once. I think that's everything I'm going to say for my spoiler-free full video. Let me know. What did you think? Did you like it? Were you surprised by it? Was it something that you're still like, things are running through your mind and you're like, well, what about this and what about that? Is it a movie that surprised you? How was my review? Was my review okay? Did I do, you know, the movie justice? If you've seen the movie, how did my review hold up against the actual film itself? Honestly, there's so much that I could say about this, but if I say any more, I'm going to spoil stuff, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to end the video here. But before I do, I always like to thank everybody that has listened, has watched, has just played in the background. I'm always very appreciative of everyone that actually watches, listens. Even if it's for a short time and you don't make it to the very end, I'm very appreciative. Maybe I should thank people earlier on in the video, because not everyone makes it to this point. But yes, so thank you so much again. Comment down below if you're liking my videos, and you want to be notified. You can hit the subscribe button, and every single time I upload, there's a little bell after you subscribe, and it defaults to personalized, and you can choose it to be notified for all uploads. So then, that way you can just anytime, random time that I actually finally upload, you get notified. So as always, thank you so much. And I'm going to jump from this into my full spoiler review. So if you're interested and you enjoy getting spoils, if you've seen the movie and you want to hear all my thoughts and details and so on and so forth, I will see you over there. So thanks so much. And yeah, until the next one.